You're listening to Melissa Gorga on Display with me, Melissa Gorga, on Podcast One.
I was crying next to a salsa bar about my deceased grandma, and it was just like all around a big hot mess.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 6 of On Display. So exciting. I've had so many amazing guests so far, and I really hope that you guys are all enjoying everything. I try to switch it up a little bit. So there's a little bit for everyone. And I just hope that you guys are all enjoying. I also wanted to say Happy New Year to all of my listeners. You guys have been so supportive and so amazing. And I hope you guys all brought in 2022 with a bang. I know I did. I was in Aruba and I had the best time. I literally just put my phone down and enjoyed Aruba. I don't know how many of you vacation there, but oh my God, the weather is perfection. It does not rain ever. It's just, I have to say, I've been everywhere. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Turks and Caicos. I've been, everywhere. Aruba is definitely my favorite. And I'm pretty much going to book now for next year because I'm obsessed with Aruba. We had the best time too. It was just some time to hang out with the kids and, float in the lazy river and just be in the ocean. I took my extensions out. I just want everyone to know that. Took my extensions out for Aruba because the water is so amazing. And I wanted to be able to jump in and be free. And I had my hair up. I don't know if if you follow me on Instagram, which I'm sure you do. My hair was in a bun the whole entire time. And I loved it. It was freeing. When I came home and put in extensions back in, Joe was like, why? I like you with your little bun. That's how I met you. Leave your natural curly hair. But I don't know. No, I couldn't do it. As soon as I got home, I went back to Melissa G status, but I really did enjoy it. And I hope you guys, had the best. I am so ready for 2022. I mean, with all of this nonsense going on in the world, I just hope everything is on the ups. I am ready to start writing on my checks 22 because it's I'm over 20 and 21 and 19 for that matter. They all kind of, they can all take a hike. It's time to move on. But anyway, I am actually really, really excited about this next guest. So let's get straight into it. He's a successful podcast host. He's a comedian and the author of Fancy AF Cocktails. He also has a new book coming out, How Do I Unremember This? That's releasing on March 8th. And he is literally one of the best people to go to for Housewives knowledge. He has such an opinion and he knows everything. He's also a 90s pop culture guy. So I think you guys are going to love this one. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Pellegrino. What's up, Danny? How are you?
Hi, Melissa. It's so good to see you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm really excited. You're fairly new to the podcast world, and I was just asking how it's going. Are you feeling comfortable? Are you excited? How are you doing?
I actually am really, really excited. I'm starting to feel more comfortable. I feel like I'm very good at talking. I like to just talk. I don't like someone to tell me what to say or give me too much of a script. Right. When I feel there's directions, I get I don't become, my natural self doesn't come through. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I figured you're I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to have a nice chat. We're going to just see where it goes. And are you recording from your house? Where's Joe in all of this?
Okay, so Joe is actually going to be here later. I actually went ahead and got myself a small little office, which is just my On Display podcast office. So I am here now, somewhere in Ridgewood, New Jersey. I won't say where, but somewhere in Ridgewood, which is Bergen County, New Jersey, which is where I'm from. So yeah, I did this because you know what? I have kids and people and the door and the UPS guy and all day long. There is no way I could sit here and my dog would have barked 7 times already. Right. And to go to New York when everyone's kind of doing Zoom right now, it's a Zoom thing mostly, would be silly because I would have had to leave my house an hour and a half ago already, park, do the whole thing. This is just easy breezy for me. So it makes
the most sense. It makes the most sense. I just moved from an apartment and they had been doing construction. Anytime anyone would move out of the building, they'd renovate the units. And so it felt like there was constantly construction. And oftentimes I'd say on my show, I'm like, I'm so sorry if you can hear banging, but like, I don't know what to do about it. And so now I'm in a new place and everything, but it was hard. I felt like I was always explaining myself in the construction that was happening in the apartment.
I hear you. I feel like there's always construction here. By the way, I hear something right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm in like, it's like a village type city. It's like a little city. So you might hear stuff in the background as well. But let me just say, first of all, have I ever met you before in person?
Yes, Melissa, you were actually at my old apartment. You came and did my show.
I did.
I know now.
Wait a second. Wait, I remember. Hold on.
Wow.
Yes. Hold on.
Obviously, it wasn't very memorable for you.
No. Wait, this was in LA, right?
Yeah,
this was in LA, and we came. Would you have a dog?
I don't have a dog. No.
No, I remember coming to your apartment. I totally remember. I wasn't sure if that was you or not, that I went to your apartment.
How dare you? We also met at BravoCon, but obviously I'm not very memorable. But you were at my apartment. I used to have guests at my apartment all the time, but pre-COVID, people would come over all the time. And oftentimes I would always see some of the guests were cool with it, and then other guests, I'd see them like going in my elevator and be like, where the hell am I?
Wait, do you hate me right now? That is terrible that I don't remember that. I do remember that. I just need like a refresher sometimes.
Melissa, don't lie. You don't remember it. It's fine.
Yes, I remember. Was I with other housewives? I was with other housewives.
No, you were not. It was just you.
Yes, I was.
I swear it was just you. You were with I think you were with a PR person or something. You were with someone, a Bravo PR person.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what
it was.
Okay.
I will say though, it was a quick one because you guys had stopped by like in between places. So I think it was like a really 15, normally I do longer interviews and it was like a 15-minute thing or something. It was
really
quick.
Okay. Because I'm going to come and talk to you again. Then we're going to talk on your podcast next time because I'm going to make that up to you guys. I love that. Yeah. Okay, good. I thought I knew that. And then BravoCon was like, please.
You thought you knew that. You did not know it at all.
No, I thought I did. I just don't like to say things if I'm not 100 on them, but I do remember it. And I do remember like loving you being at your house. I remember the whole thing. I swear to God, I could tell you what your whole apartment looks like. I remember it all.
I just moved out of that apartment, so I'm happy to not be there, but I'm still trying to get my office set up and everything here. So it's not quite where I want it, but
all right, good. Well, let me just ask you, obviously you're like a professional. You are like, you've made such a name for yourself just on social with like Instagram and kind of recapping a lot of reality shows and just having a strong opinion. How does that even happen? Like, how do you just break into this world?
Well, it's interesting. I had started making memes about reality TV like way years ago. And at that time, there weren't now there's a million Instagram accounts that make Housewives memes and all of that kind of thing. But I had garnered like a little bit of a following from that. And then I segued into podcasting. And on my podcast, I have celebrity guests, but then I also recap your show and other Housewives shows, reality shows. And it just took off in a way that I never really expected it to. It was like, I've always been an independent show and, I was just doing it. I was a comedian forever and I was performing, but, it wasn't going so great. And so I decided to just start a show where I could do my bits and do my stuff from home. And then it just snowballed from there and I didn't expect it. And it's weird. And I can't believe now I make a living off of it, but it just snowballed for years. I don't know. It's weird. And there's this whole genre, as you know, we just mentioned BravoCon, but there's this whole genre of like, not just the reality shows, but the recappers and the meme accounts and people who make merch and all sorts of stuff. So it's fascinating to me. I think the only other world outside of Bravo that has the same kind of fan base or the most comparable fan base, I would say, is like Bachelor Nation.
Right.
But, it's rare in terms of TV that reality TV has such fervent fan bases.
Yeah, well, I would say, especially in the Bravo world. I mean, it's out of control. They are intense, which I'm sure like they truly feel insulted when like it's like nothing we've ever seen, which I think gives that whole network, the Bravo network, such a, it stands out above the rest because of the Bravo celebrities and the fans. It's just such a strong, they give their opinions. They say who should be fired. They yell at Andy all day. They send emails to the owner of freaking Bravo. They're intense people. Like,
and it's like
really
sports. I feel like fans, we analyze like casting in the same way that people would analyze like trades on a sports team and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's not even just when your season's airing. I feel like everyone's looking at the blogs and trying to figure out, what's happening behind the scenes and reading even between the lines in the show. I think sometimes something will happen on the show and and the super fans will be like, well, I wonder if production stepped in there, or I wonder if they were told to do that, or what was happening right off screen, or that kind of thing. So it's
the
fascinating.
biggest problem is they started, I think the fans, including yourself, like whoever is into these shows, have figured out the formula.
Right.
It's a formula that has been figured out pretty much. And so it's very hard to fool anyone. And a lot of times people believe like, oh, this isn't true. The producers made them say this. The producers made them do this. And I think that's always the biggest misconception on our show. Like no one can ever believe that we really had that argument, or that, Teresa and I really felt that strongly about a situation, or like, no one can believe it, but I'll say it to you, which I'm sure you already know. And to anyone else listening, they set up, there's obviously a schedule. So we're in a situation, right? We walk in the room and we know we're all going to be there, but what we do, what we say, how we react, who we decide to like and who we decide not to like, that's on us. No production comes in and says, say this to them. That's a script. We don't have a script. What we do have is set up situations, if that makes sense. So it's like, we all know we're going to Rails tonight for dinner. Whoop. What we do at Rails, nobody knows, but we're all going to be there,
well,
like that's,
and like the posh fashion show was always such a thing in the early seasons. We were led to believe that was like the biggest event of the biggest event of the season was the
Kim
show.
D, because you knew something evil was always going to go down, and that it was always going to be something crazy, because the woman would go to any possible length to promote her boutique. And she knew, like, the louder the night was going to be, the more people were going to pay attention to her boutique. Pretty genius, actually. She was onto something there.
Melissa, those early seasons, I mean, when you first came on, those early I love the cast now, and I think the show is still super amazing. But your first season with the
oh my God.
I mean, that opening
episode
was like
stripper.
I mean, all of it, those early seasons were just like magic. The christening was some of the best television I've ever seen. And I can't imagine, sometimes we as fans, I think, have almost like a wall up. Like, we forget that it's real life for people. That's a real christening happening. But for us, it's just like, oh my God, that was the greatest TV of all time.
Well, I'll never forget one of our producers, Lucilla, texting me after she saw the first episode, which I have never been on TV before in my life. Right. So all I know is I went to that christening and I cried for a week after, trying to get off the show, trying to understand like what I just signed and what the hell this was. Like, I was like, that was my son's, like, this is not a joke to me. I don't give a shit about the camera. I was so in shock that I wouldn't get on the pickup line at school because I was so embarrassed. I'm like, that, like, I just, after it aired, but I cried under a bed. I'll never forget her calling me saying, oh my God, where's Joe going to be? Where are you guys going to watch this first episode? I really think I need to be by your side. I was like, huh? What's happening here? Like, she's like, well, it's an hour and a half special, and it's a banger. And she's like, it's like an episode of The Godfather. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I had no idea that christening was just going to change like the Real Housewives of New Jersey and put us in this. I mean, that dynamic between the two families at the time, I have the children now, because that's how stressful that used to be for me. Like, that was not worth the money. I'm sorry. It was not worth the money at the time. I'll tell you that. I mean, maybe now because I held out, but at the time I was like, what the hell is going on here?
I want one of those. You know how sometimes on Bravo, they do those extended episodes, or they did it on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, like the dinner party from hell episode, where it was like behind the scenes. I need like a full extended episode. Of that, where you are all talking about it now and everything, because it was truly some of the best TV. How do you feel about, on Ultimate Girls Trip, which I loved, and I thought it was so fascinating to kind of break that fourth wall and hear you all talking about the show, and Luann talking about Cameo, and all that stuff was so fun to watch for fans of this whole franchise. But how do you feel about like that thing, your casting still being this like question mark with you and Teresa, and it was like still feels like it's not cleared up in a way? Is that frustrating to you, or are you just like, oh, who cares? It's been enough time. Who cares?
I mean, I have to be honest. I don't think anybody wonders about that anymore, except for Teresa. Let's be real. It's like, it's just like, It's the oldest story. I'll never forget doing press for seasons 3 and seasons 4. Okay. And the Bravo publicist used to say to Teresa in front of me before we walked out on the stage of The View or Wendy Williams or whatever it may have been at the time, Teresa, please do not bring it up again. No, it's like what happens is you guys go on a rant and we don't ever promote the show. We just talk about the fact that Melissa's on behind your back. And the Bravo publicist would say, like, don't bring this up. Okay. We don't care. We don't want to talk about the fact that Melissa's on the show. She's here. Like, let's talk about the show because you'll go on a rant for an hour and then our time is up. Right. Okay. She says, whatever. Okay. We walk out. She's like, well, because she came on and, I had no idea. And I was like, oh my God. And then we would walk off stage and they would just look at us. And I'm like, sorry, guys. So now we're filming 11 years later and we go to we're on the girls trip and she's like, so I was like, holy shit, like this is never going to die. It's almost funny at this point. I have my total story about it. She has her story about it. The truth is, Andy has said multiple times, like he has told her that I did not just show up with cameras at the christening. That's not how this went down. And she just wants, I think that was like a good way for her at the time, many years ago. I mean, obviously we're in a much better place now.
But I still feel like you two hate each other. Do you two hate each other?
I hate is a very strong word. No, we do not hate each other. I actually love her very much. I just think that she is, I'm more of a live and let live. Like I let go. I do. I let go. And I let go of things. She is a major grudge holder. And I don't even know. I don't know what, like, it's always going to have a little like chip. It's always going to be where I don't know that we would be best friends if we had the choice, but we do enjoy each other when we're in a good mood.
But can I ask you a question? Like, how much of that is a traditional sister-in-law dynamic? And how much do you think is it because of the filming of the show? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was way before the filming of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And that's the honest truth. So I do think it's like that typical, like Italian, Joey's like the chosen one. Who's this girl?
Yeah, I'm Italian. I get it.
Yeah, you're Italian. Like I'm telling you, it's sad because like, and I keep reminding myself, like, don't do that when you meet Gino and Joey's because I already am obsessed with them. And I'm like, what am I going to be like as a mother-in-law? And how is Antonia going to be? Because it's like just the two girls. And like, we have these, like, I think my boys are hot. Like I really do. I'm like, you boys are like so handsome. Like, oh, I want to remember the feeling of like entering a very old school Italian family and how difficult that was for me, even being an Italian. And I really do, but I don't want to talk too much because I feel like whatever you say in life always ends up being, yes. So let me just shut the hell up and I pray for nice boys or girls for them.
Right. And, your sisters, was there ever a chance of your sisters joining the show? Because I always felt like that would be a smart dynamic to dive into. And of course we've seen them on the show, but like, has it ever gone farther than just them making a cameo or something?
No, because they live so far away. So if they, and I don't think they would I don't know if they would totally want to do it either. But they live an hour and a half away. I grew up at the Jersey Shore, which is an hour and a half from my whole family still lives there. So, it's just impossible to film. They won't even cast Housewives with people who live like more than 45 minutes away because it's just too hard for filming situation. They like to keep everyone in the same area. Whether you're struggling with grief, relationships, or stress, or having trouble sleeping or meeting goals, online therapy might be for you. BetterHelp is secure online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with a licensed professional therapist. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours, and you don't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime time and send a message to your therapist. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule your weekly video or phone sessions. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change your therapist if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. Visit betterhelp.com/Gorga and join the over 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. On Display by Melissa Gorga is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off their first month of online therapy at betterhelp.com/Gorga. That's betterhelp.com/Gorga. So you started your own online store. You're doing what you love. You're selling products people want, and orders are coming in fast. Now, the hard part is shipping those products out. Luckily, ShipStation makes it easy. With ShipStation, it's simple to import, manage, and ship your orders out fast for a lot less money. It's no wonder ShipStation is the #1 shipping software for e-commerce sellers with more 5-star reviews than anyone else. Ship with any carrier using our deeply discounted rates. Spend a lot less time on shipping and a lot more time growing your business. No matter where you're selling, Amazon, Etsy, your own website, ShipStation funnels all of your orders into one simple interface that you can manage from anywhere, even your cell phone. You'll even get access to amazing discounts with major carriers, including UPS, FedEx, and the United States Postal Service. Easily compare carriers and choose the best solution every time. With ShipStation, small businesses can now access the same rates usually reserved for Fortune 500 companies without the contracts or the commitments. Ship more in less time. Just use my offer code Melissa to get a 60-day free trial. That's 2 months free of no hassle, stress-free shipping. Just go to ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in Melissa.
I think I'm interviewing Snooki this week or next, and I always wondered, has she been approached to join the show? Because she knows some of you. I know she was on your show.
Yeah, she's friends with me. Andy Cohen gives her such a hard no. Like anytime he's just like, don't even
what?
say
Andy?
it. Yeah. Like
why?
Whenever I would go to him and be like, hello, she's married now. She has 3 kids. She lives around the block. Like she's great, like for this, I think. And he just looks at me like, no.
Oh my God, Melissa, Andy, what the hell, Andy?
He just is not having it. In his defense, they typically do not like to cast other people who have already been on a different reality show. They prefer to find like an authentic, lady living in New Jersey with a crazy life and a Bentley. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't want you, but I just think like,
but Snooki's rich and people love, who doesn't love Snooki?
I know. I just think that he says
that's
no.
Stupid. That's wrong. You know what? No. Andy's wrong.
You know
there.
what she said to me when she was on my show? That he won't even accept her for Watch What Happens Live anymore.
Yeah, so there must have been something. I feel like there's a part of the story that's missing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of casting, if you could go ahead and create a reality TV show, what would it be? What would it be about? Like, what would you create a reality TV show about? Because I feel like you're so good at this.
Oh, well, thank you. I feel like I didn't create this one, but I'm very excited about that. I loved Ultimate Girls Trip, like I mentioned.
Did you love it? Did you really like it?
I swear to God. And I thought it was going to be really bad. I thought
real quick, anything surprise you from personality wise? Like when you were watching your true, authentic, like don't sugarcoat shit for me. Like tell me.
No, I thought you all came across better on that than you all do on your other shows, except for Cynthia and Ramona. I think they didn't really look great on the show, but I think you came off of it. Kyle came off of it. Teresa, everybody else, I felt like came across way more likable than you all seemed more. You and Kyle in particular seemed so much more relaxed and so much more just like the kind of fun girls everyone would want to hang out with, you know, and,
Right.
and have slumber parties with. And I felt that way about you, Teresa, Kyle, Kenya, I thought came across great. Everyone except for Cynthia and Ramona.
Well, that seems to be the what everyone says. Yeah. I don't know.
I wondered, was Cynthia already let go of the show when she was filmed from Atlanta?
Yeah, I think so. So that might have been like, you know, the insecurity that was coming out all over the place. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why is no one bonding with me? And so I think that now that I know, had a lot to do with it, because I was even baffled at the time, because I used to be like, you know, I thought she was just like the peacemaker, chill. And like in every situation, we were all ready to drink and party and like look at us together on this gorgeous spot. And she was always like, and I'm like, wow, Debbie Downer. I didn't know you. I never knew that, you know?
That's what I was thinking the whole time I was watching. Cause it did seem like she was almost insecure or uncomfortable or something, more so than even on her other show on Atlanta Housewives. And I would imagine if you had just been let go, or if you knew you weren't coming back, you would be a little, whatever about it. But yeah, I thought it was just so good. And I thought it was going to be really boring and not a whole ton of drama happened. But I think what was fascinating about it was just fun to see you all interact and talking about your shows and the filming. And so I hope for the next seasons of that, they continue that formula of just kind of letting you all talk about the shows you're on. Cause I think that was really fun. But so in terms of your question of like me creating the show, I am so excited for that season 2, because it's like, you all were kind of like the stable, normal group. And with season 2, or the one that they're doing, it's like the crazy ex-housewives. And I mean,
well, that's going to be something. Whoa.
It's going to be nuts. Like, and everything I've heard about it, it's just like crazy. And it's at Bluestone Manor, which I miss Dorinda on New York, and I miss that set and everything. So I feel like that if I could have dreamed up a show, that cast is so unhinged in the best of ways. And so I just cannot wait for that. I feel like it's just going to be insane. And also I hope at some point, Bravo, when they're doing these, I'd like to see them throw in some of the other cast for these Peacock All-Star shows. So like, I would like to see some Married to Medicine people come in, or maybe someone from Vanderpump Rules, or just kind of mix them up even more than they are doing.
Wow. Do you know, I never thought of that. That is a genius idea. Kind of like they did with the Summer House and the Winter House, or all of that, right? With the Southern Charm.
Yeah. Cause I mean, some of like the Vanderpump we call them kids, but it's like some of them are the same age as you, or like, you know, like,
yeah, I think I'm the same age as Jax.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. So we need to get some of the
longer,
we need to get some of the mix in there. You know,
I never thought of that. So that's the show you would create. You're going to pull in from all the Bravo shows and throw us on an island. For a week.
Yeah. And I would do it for even longer than a week. I would make, how long did you film Ultimate Girls Trip? It was just 7 days.
7 days, but it was long. Like you could not do one more day. I mean, cause it's 24 hours nonstop, microphone never comes off. And like, you need to breathe, you know.
How did you feel after it? Did you feel like you came across?
Well? Yeah, I think I came off what I truly am if I was out on a girls trip with my friends, which is I'm always the party girl. I'm always the fun girl. It's very hard to piss me off in a beautiful setting, in a nice situation. I truly do love to bring the fun. And if you spoke to any of my real, true, close friends that you guys don't know, you might see them on Instagram, they will tell you, like, if I'm on vacation with you, it's Melissa's like going to figure out where we're going to have fun today. You know, that's me. That's who I am. So to cast me on that trip, you must know, like, okay, well, I'm going to be the one that's like pouring the shots down everyone's throat, because that's what's fun to me.
Right. I love it.
I truly like to see people like let their hair down and have fun. And I thought, like, on a trip like that, I wanted to see everybody not come in with their full glam and like their hair every day. I mean, the Atlanta girls, Kenya and Cynthia, had full glam every day. And I was kind of like yelling. I was like, come on with the glam, people. Like, I didn't do glam on that trip much at all. I think we had like a blowout once, but I kind of wanted it to be a less glammy situation and more of a, like, let your hair down. Let's have a true girls trip.
Can I ask you, were you all worried in the trip? Because there wasn't a lot of drama, and you were the first season of this thing, of whatever this was. So were there any moments where you were sitting there thinking, oh, we have to start some drama? Because I would imagine if you were filming your other shows, you would all think, oh, we have to start something. There's nothing happening.
Right.
And nothing big happened on Ultimate Girls Trip, but it was excellent. It was just, I would
It was
imagine
just enough.
psychologically you would all be thinking, oh, is this going to be okay? Because did you know that they were going to break the fourth wall and let you all talk about your shows, or did you ever have that thought of like, we need to start something?
Well, one thing that I would definitely say is they did not produce that show at all, which was shocking to me. I couldn't find a producer all day long ever. So that's what made me know like this, they totally want it to be whatever it is. Like if we were on the Real Housewives of New Jersey having a dinner that way and zero was happening for the last 2 days on vacation, that somebody would have stepped in eventually and been like, wow, guys, falling asleep back here. Like what, never once did we see a producer ever, 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 ever. So it was what they wanted. They wanted it to be exactly what it was, which was like unproduced. Just put these women together. If they'd fight, they fight. If they don't, they don't, which I love it like that. I appreciated that, Did you just see the trailer for the Real Housewives of New Jersey, the new trailer?
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
What'd you
feel?
I
thought it was great.
Thoughts.
I am very excited. I think this cast is great. My one concern, this is like a very mini concern, is the cast has been the same for so long, and I would love someone just to be some new freshness to be added. I'm just a little concerned, which I hope I'm wrong, because every season has been great. I thought last season was fantastic. The season before was great. That's my only kind of mini little concern, is like, I hope that we don't need to change it up. Do we need to change it up?
I agree. You're definitely going to see some new faces, although they're not housewives. You're definitely going to see a lot more new interactions. Jersey is like one of the hardest shows to get cast on. It's like impossible to get in.
Why?
As you can see. I don't know. I agree. I love how Beverly Hills, like there's a new girl every time you turn around. There's like not our show. They won't let anyone in. I don't know. I think it's because it was so family driven for so long that it's very hard to like mesh with us. I am on your page with this though. I love a fresh face. I love a hungry girl who comes in hungry and starving and like, what do you guys like, acting a fool? I'm all about the hungry girl. And I'm just like, they're the ones who are like, I'll be calling the Brit. Don't call me to like go food shopping for no reason. I am busy. Like, don't call me to like have a closet scene with Joe. Like, thank you anyway. Call the new girl. She'll be ready. Her outfit is picked and her makeup is done. Yeah. Like, call her and do not call me unless you have like something serious that's going to get cut onto the floor to use up some time. Like, I freak about that. So I am all about the new girl ready to go. Like, dressed up.
Wasn't there talk about, did they try to get Caroline back, or was that a rumor like that she wanted more money or something?
I don't know, to be honest. I do know that there was like rumor after rumor after rumor. I do think that Caroline has kind of graduated from, she's a grandmother now. I feel like to put her back in at this point, I don't know how that would work. I personally love the Manzos. Always had a great relationship with them. I just think it would be far off to put her in now. I mean, she would not want anything to do with any nonsense at this point. Do you know what I mean? She was
over at her last season. She seemed so.
She was over 8 years ago when she left the show. Exactly. So I could never see that happening, if we're being totally honest.
While we're talking about the old cast, I have to ask about the Kathy of it all. Like Kathy, Rosie, when is the last time you talked to them? I know none of you are friendly anymore, but like, when is the last time? Has there been any family like?
No, I mean, did you read Dave's book? Like the shit that they wrote in that book. I was like, oh my God, they're still mad. Like, it's just crazy. That
book caused so much drama.
So much drama. I have never had an argument with Kathy. I've never had an argument with Rosie. I've never had an argument with Richie, the children. I've never did anything wrong other than I was not taken off the show. So that's where I'm sour, because I'm like, and I get their sourness. It's because Teresa kind of said, like, I don't want them in our lives anymore. I follow the lead of like my husband and his sister with their family. I can't be one to cause chaos. So I don't argue. I don't fight. But like, I think, I don't know. I don't know.
What did they say in the book? I don't remember. What did they say? You just stopped talking to them after they got off the show?
No, like Rosie calls me like a bitch wife or something. Is a bitch wife, or I don't I'm like, where does this come from? I don't even know where it comes from. Like the animosity and the hatred is like strong, like probably for all of us. And I feel like it's easy to like just say in his bitch wife, because like I'm not like blood. So it's easy to kind of be like, let's throw a jab that way. Cause no one wants to throw a jab at Joe because it's just like, why do that? He did nothing wrong either. It was it was between Kathy and Teresa. It really was.
And I just always wondered if there was like a cousin or something who had an anniversary party or another baptism or something. No. None of you have run into each other.
No, they don't have any other family. So that's the thing. So this is Teresa and Joe's cousin and their only cousin that they have. Anyone else.
That makes me sad. Melissa, isn't that's sad?
So sad.
Yeah.
So sad. And my family still loves them. Like they were very close with my sisters, my mother, and my family's a very tight knit family. My whole family is family. Like I am with my cousins, my sisters, and my aunts and uncles. Like we are family. So when I came into Joe's family, I was a little like, whoa, this is run very different. Like even the brother sister relationship and the, little jealousy thing, like we in my family do not play that game. We are not allowed to play that game.
The jealousy.
Yes. There is no competing in the sisterhood and the cousin. Like there is just, it's not allowed.
Yeah.
So we weren't raised that way. So when I joined Joe's family, I was just like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah,
like I was like in awe of it. And I almost came off like dumbfounded a lot of the times. And I'm the one who got beat up on because I was give into it. Cause I'm like, no, we don't do that. We don't do this. What are we doing? What do we do? Yeah. And it's just like, hit her. She's a dumbass, So like, I learned now though, like now I learned like, you can't fuck with me anymore because I see it all. And now I just simply don't give a shit. It's like before I used to be like, oh my God, I don't want to piss them off. Oh my God, I don't want to piss them off. Oh my God, I don't want my in-laws to be mad. I don't want this. I don't want that. Now I'm like, yeah, nope. Treat me right or take a walk.
Yeah, you have to teach people how you want to be treated. I'm from an Italian family, but I have two older brothers, so we don't have any women in our family, immediate family, and it's always just a protecting of each other. So there's not any sort of competition with each other. It's always just like, we're our unit and protect each other.
That's all I know. That's all I know. So it's like, it was very hard for me. And this just goes for anybody. I know there's a bunch of listeners out there too, that, you join. And not just Italian families. Listen, there's a lot of like European, there's a lot that goes on out there, but you join a family as like, when you join a family that has very strong opinions and they're very passionate and you jump in with good intentions. And there's a lot of women I know because they DM me all day and they're in shock. They can't believe how difficult it is or how different their spouse's family is wrong. It like ran, like how they handle things and how they're in competition and the house is bigger and this is that. And it's sad because everybody wants to get that experience of joining a new family and like loving them, adding more. And when you don't get that, you kind of feel robbed of it. You feel robbed of like, wait a second, I want to like bond with you. I want to like go to the mall with you, my new brother-in-law or sister-in-law or whatever. And when you don't have that and they're kind of just X you out, you feel robbed of that in your life. And you're like, wow, I'll never get that. I'll never get that like vibe with them. And you just think to yourself, well, unless I get a divorce, I'm never going to have that, which sucks.
Right.
That sucks. Right. But I get so many people who always talk to me about that all the time.
How are you and Teresa now that your most recent season is done filming? How are you two now? Did you end the season on a good place or were you at odds?
Yeah, we did. I mean, you're going to see a lot of it on, we premiere February 1st, which is very exciting. It's like 3 weeks away. For me, it's always an issue because Teresa never likes my friends. So you'll see what goes down with that. And it's like, I get into this situation where, it's like family is family and you have to stick with family, but you don't always agree with everything they do or say. So then you're in a trap. And that always happens to be my situation, which, you get where you get people saying like, why are you mad at that? Your friend Teresa's wrong. Like, why are you mad? And then you'll get Teresa like, stick with your family and you'll get and I'm like, what? Like, I'm always in that position because I'm not a heavy fighter. Like you're good to me. I'm good to you. And I think people know me by now. I've been on TV for 11 years, 12 years. Like people know I'm not in there to come bring you down and drag you through the mud. If you come for me, I think I surprise people with how feisty I am and how much I will stick up for myself, but you have to throw the first punch, So I think I always get myself into a little situation of like pick a side, and it's like I'm not going to pick a side because everybody's a grown adult. So I'm going to tell you when you're wrong, and I'm going to tell you when you're wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is the big thing with Margaret and Teresa? That's what the big thing is.
That's
right?
a big thing. That's a big thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
I've heard some
and
things.
so of course I'm very good friends with Margaret. Margaret's been very good to me for a very long time. And Teresa's my sister-in-law. So it's a situation for me. For women who suffer from any of the broad range of postmenopausal symptoms who want safe and effective non-drug solutions, they can trust only Bonafide. Bonafide creates natural medical products that have earned the recommendations of over 8,300 doctors. Women struggle with real health issues and deserve to be spoken to in a real, straightforward way that acknowledges their experience. Bonafide has helped over 333,000 women. Give Bonafide a try today. No hormones and no prescription required. Real relief without compromise. To get 20% off your first purchase when you subscribe to any product, go to hellobonafide.com and use code Melissa. That's hello, BONAFIDE.com and code Melissa for 20% off at checkout.
Hey everyone, this is Heather Dubrow, and do I have some exciting news for you? We are launching a variety of new episodes that are going to have amazing special guests, some of my close friends, and so much more. It's going to be really fun, and we're going to get to hear from fans, new friends, and get an inside look of my world. We're really excited for you to listen and join in for Heather Dubrow's World on Podcast One. Episodes drop on Thursdays and Fridays. Tune in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You know what I always wonder, especially with housewives who've been on forever, like you or Teresa, if somebody were to come for you on the show, is there some part of your mind that thinks, okay, great, this is making good TV, even though you might hate the person? Is there some part of you that's happy? I don't know if I'm making sense.
Like you
Does that
said,
make sense?
It makes complete sense because especially if you're like me, who you're not going to really go for someone because it's not your style, right? And then they just come at you like they hit you with a left and you're like, you dumb stupid ass. Wonderful. Now we're going to talk about this. Do you know what I mean? It's thank you, you just did me a favor. So they try to like sneak you, but little do they know you're on a reality TV show, and I would have never snuck them because I don't do that. And you beautiful, thank you. So now let's discuss this. Just what I needed, dumbass. Like, do you know what I mean? That's you're 100% right. Like, trust me, if you were on a reality show, you want someone to come and ruffle your feathers because now you feel very strong in your opinion. You're not being told to do something you normally wouldn't do, where you can't back it up, or you're being insecure about it. You're like, no, I fully believe that they are an asshole and I am ready to attack them because now I know that they're an asshole. Do you know what I mean? Right. So it's a gift. It's a gift when you're on a reality TV show. So I love when they cast. Yeah. Bring on all the little newbies who just want to be somebody, because that's great. That's great.
What's going on with Dolores? She's got a new man.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, Dolores does. I have not met Dolores' new man yet. I'm very excited to meet him. I'm actually very happy for Dolores because she, she needed to like switch it up. Dolores never worries about Dolores. Did you ever meet Dolores?
Yeah, she was on my show a couple times, once or twice. Yeah.
Okay. And what did you think? You love Dolores. She's a sweetheart. Yeah.
I mean, I love all the Jersey. I feel like a little bit of a kinship with the Jersey women because I'm Italian from Ohio. I feel like I understand all of you women. Like I know all of you women.
You understand it. You understand even the craziness and like where it's coming from.
I get the family. I get the Italian. I understand all of that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, most Italians do. They get where we're coming from. And even, the non-Italians do too. But anyone with like passionate, strong feelings are like, no, we get them. And they know that we're not coming from like a bad place. We're coming from a passionate place. Is that, you know what I mean? Like we're just passionate about everything. You have any family drama in your family? Like what goes on?
Not really. No. My mom is the type who's just like, let's keep the peace. She's the matriarch of the family. And so she's constant. And I have two brothers. They're both married, but we all get along with their wives. Everyone gets along really well. I have a boyfriend who I've had for 12 years. So,
and were they all supportive of you when you came out and said you were gay and had a boyfriend? And
my mom wasn't at first, which normally it's the opposite. Normally, like the dads have trouble accepting it, but my dad, he's he's able to see things and understand things. And he's like, oh, whatever, you're still my son. I get it, whatever. My mom was the one, because she's constantly worried about what other people think. So I don't even think she was so much concerned with how she felt about it, but she was so concerned with like, how would other people perceive me? And when I came out, it was like, I guess it was 13 or 14 years ago, but it doesn't seem like that long, but it was a different time sort of culturally. It wasn't
right.
kind of where we're at now. And so, yeah, she had a harder time coming around, and I'm the type of person who was like, I'm going to throw it all in her face. And like, I'm going to make her meet my boyfriend.
Like right from the start, you didn't even let her ease into it. You were just like, this is it.
I remember trying the easing into it at first, and it just wasn't working. It was taking too long. I remember she would tell me when I'd go home for holidays or something like, oh, don't tell your aunt or your grandpa or whoever about it. And it got to the point where I was like, no, this is who I am, like, love it or leave it. And that's it. So,
and I think that's the right way to do it. Don't ease in, maybe just go full throttle.
Yeah. And it was easier for me, certainly. And then I think it also ended up being easier for her now. And she came around, and now her and my boyfriend are like, they text, and everyone gets along, and she's like the best. And my mom we've always been so super close. I always say she's my favorite person in the world, but it was just a little bit of a rough, I guess, year or so when I first came out. But
how old were you?
I think I was 21 or 22. Yeah.
Are there any of these stories in your new book that you're coming out with? Did you put any of this in there?
There's a lot of stuff in the book. So yeah, my new book, it's called How Do I Unremember This? And on my show, I would often be recapping one of your shows or Housewives or whatever. And I'd say, let's take a little detour. And I'd tell a family story or something that happened to me in my personal life. And I noticed those were the stories that people would come up to me. I did a tour right before COVID, and people would ask me about a story about my mom or my brothers or something that I had told on the show. And so I had always been a writer. I was a ghostwriter for years. And so I wanted to always do my own collection of essays and comedic essays, and sort of my version of a David Sedaris book or a comedic essay collection. And so, yeah, it's full of stories that are family stories. There's a lot of nostalgia in there and a lot of pop culture. I'm a pop culture junkie. So there's tons of pop culture references and all sorts of stories.
Yeah, you're like a 90s junkie, right?
A 90s
we love
junkie,
the 90s.
yes.
We love like Britney. We love Christina. We're loving
yes.
Who else? We love Nick Lachey and Jessica. We love all these people.
Melissa, I feel like you were a Newlyweds watcher. I don't know why. I feel like, were you a Newlyweds watcher?
100%. Okay. And the funny part is I am now friends with Nick Lachey and Vanessa. And it's hysterical to me that, like, before I was on TV, obviously I used to watch a show like waiting for every moment of it. Between that, my first reality show that I really, really remember was the Osbornes. That was that era of like, wait, why are we in these people's house? Like, what is happening? I was obsessed with the Osbornes and with the Newlyweds. Yeah. And now I've been to Disney with Nick Lachey, and
okay, wait, do you ever ask him about Newlyweds? Like, you must be wanting to ask.
Oh my God, never. No, because like, with Vanessa, it's like just not appropriate. I don't bring his old marriage. To me, that's like bringing up his old marriage. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
So
I understand that, but I also feel like they profit so much of both of their careers. And Jessica is like my everything, but they really did profit off of that whole thing in a way that it does. I feel like it is hard, because as a journalist, you would want to ask about that period of his life, because he was on TV, it was the biggest show ever. And they were touring and doing variety shows and all sorts of stuff related to their marriage. So as a pop culture junkie, I want to know about that era, but I also understand, it must be hard for him to talk about because it was his marriage.
Well, let me just, coming from a place of reality TV, and obviously not as big as Newlyweds or Nick Lachey or Jessica Simpson, but just let me tell you this. I know for a fact that fans connect more with someone like, so there can be someone from, let's see, like Vanderpump Rules or Housewife in the room. Okay. And there can be like, Kelly Clarkson or like, give me like a good singer, legit. Let's not go for Meryl. I mean, you're going to the top of the top of the top, but an A-list person, these people gravitate they'll gravitate to the Bravo celebrity. And I'll tell you why, because they know them personally. They want to tell them stories. They're like, oh my God, we love Gina. Oh my God, oh my God, like, they feel like they know you, where when you're just, when we're watching the people sing, we're watching them sing, you're a mega fan. You just want that picture, right? You just want that picture. Like, I stood next to them. But when they meet a Bravo celebrity or reality star, it's such a personal, like, how's Gino doing? When I watched you say this, I felt I had open heart surgery too. Like, it's a different vibe for reality stars, it could be rough sometimes when we're out in public, because it's not a quick picture and move on. It's a story.
Let's chat.
A conversation. It takes up a lot of time not to be rough with people, or not to be like, okay, nice to meet you, and keep it on. They want to know how is Antonia's name? Like, they want to know these things. And it's like, it's a conversation. So I can tell you, him having done both made him a superstar. And I agree with you on that, because it's like, we know him as a husband.
Like, we watched them go to every chain restaurant in Los Angeles. Every episode they were going to the Cheesecake Factory or Olive Garden. And I felt like, yeah,
that was some great TV. But no,
what was your favorite look? Do you remember the fashion on that show? Like, was there a specific look of Jessica's? Because I feel like that was one of the most influential fashion shows. Like,
for me, it was always her hair and her big sunglasses. Like, her hair was still a vibe. Like, I see her on Instagram with that head of hair, and I'm like, oh my God, like, she's just and then when she did the one movie, when she ripped her body to shreds and her legs were
the Daisy Dukes.
The Daisy Dukes with it. And she fucking washed that car. I was like, Jessica, like, she's my type. I love her.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yes, love her.
And she did the Rolling Stone cover where she had the Swiffer. Do you remember that?
Yes. I mean, she was just amazing. I would pay money to see her. Like, she needs another reality show, because she's great reality TV. And then there was, like, I know you're good with all this, with the Christinas and the Britney. What are you thinking of Britney on following her sister?
I'm so happy for Britney and sort of getting her voice back and getting away from this conservatorship and everything. And it seems like everything with her family, like, they were monsters to her for so long. And so, yeah, I'm glad that she's unfollowing. If they were terrible to her, I'm glad she's getting away from it. I really just, like, I always say this. It's like, I just want the best for Britney. I feel like she's given us so much. I just want her to do whatever she wants to do. I feel like they worked her so ragged for so many years, and when she was young, and I'm someone who gets in a YouTube spiral at night, and I look at all these performances from these people that we're talking about, and it's like Britney, more than anyone, was everywhere at all times when she was 17 years old onward. And I couldn't even imagine the type of schedule at that age, or at any age, how they ran her. And so I just want her to relax and creatively do whatever she wants to do, and only surround herself with good people. And I feel like she's earned a lifetime of happiness.
Yes. They have worked her to the ground. That girl, they really have. It is time for Britney to be Britney and do what Britney wants to do. And if it's act a fool or act classy or let her do whatever makes her happy at this point, because she has done everything since she's 12 to make everyone else happy. So
I would love some new music out of her, but I want her to do it if she wants to do it. And I also think she's a better actor than there's clips of her from SNL when she hosted, and she's done different things. I think she's actually a great actress. So I'd love to see her do something creatively, but it's only if she wants to. What's your favorite Britney song?
My favorite Britney song. You know what song just popped in my mind, but it's definitely not my favorite. Oops, I did it again. But it's not my favorite. It's just the first thing that comes to me. What's the slow song that she sang once? That
Every Time.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
I love
Hauntingly
that song.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Right. I always loved Every Time. That was one of my
She
favorites.
co-wrote or wrote that song too.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah. I completely loved that. What's your favorite Britney song?
I love Every Time. There's a song called Just Love Me off her Glory album that is probably my favorite, but I love a lot of it. It was just the holidays, and I was listening to her. She did one Christmas song, Santa, Can You Hear Me?
Santa, Can You Hear Me? That one?
It's so good. Yes, Melissa.
I love that one.
It's so good. And I want us to sort of collectively make it a holiday classic. They used it.
It should be.
And I know it's played a lot, but I feel like that should be as respected as like Kelly's Underneath the Tree or Mariah's All I Want for Christmas.
And I love Jessica's Christmas album. It's the best thing ever.
Jessica has two of them. She did two of them.
Well, the one I like is she has Nick on, and she has the drummer boy with her sister. Like that is my ultimate, like that's what I play through my speakers for Christmas.
Wait, that little drummer boy is unhinged when she does it with Ashley.
It's amazing. I like it.
It's crazy, but I love it too.
I think it's so good. Yeah. Wait, what do you mean by unhinged? What are you saying?
Melissa, have you ever, so Jessica and Nick did a variety hour.
I remember
ABC.
That.
It was like a Christmas special.
I watched it all.
And her and Ashley did a duet of Little Drummer Boy, which is from the album.
Okay.
But the live performance of it is crazy. Like it's Ashley singing about being a poor boy too is just crazy. It's like crazy.
Oh, okay. I got you.
It's crazy, but I love it.
I love singing it. I sing it all over my house at Christmas time. Anyway, speaking of crazy, I heard that you had a crazy couple of weeks according to your Instagram, and like you're getting tickets. You had COVID. Do you currently have COVID?
No, I'm all good. I have like a couple lingering symptoms or whatever, but it was just like the worst holiday season. My boyfriend and I moved into a house for the very first time. So we've always been apartment. So moving is already stressful enough, I think. Like it's the worst. And I was expecting it to be bad, but we were doing it over Christmas, which was maybe not the best idea because Christmas is also very hectic. And then in the move, my car registration was expired. They towed my car, and it was like it was raining in LA during the move. So it was pouring rain. We never get rain here, but it was raining for like a week straight. They towed my car. I had to get it back from the city, which was like, they sent me all over. I had to go to like a vehicle release office, the DMV, then to the tow company. And then I tested positive for COVID. It was just like a nightmare week and a half that I felt like after I got through it, I was like, I could get through anything, but it was frustrating because I had taken some time off from my show and some other projects that I'm working on. I thought I'm going to have a relaxing time and we're going to easily move and be it. And then it was just like COVID, and it was a nightmare.
So I had COVID as well a couple weeks ago. Did you just have like the stuffy nose, the throat thing, or what did you have?
It was mostly the throat thing.
Yes. That's that new variant.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, I was tired, but I was vaccinated and boosted. So like my symptoms weren't that bad, but I guess I had like 2 or 3 days that were more rough than the others. And then I had like weird symptoms where like I was cold all the time. And that's one that's like sort of lingering. It's like, I feel like I'm cold my hands are freezing all the time.
Oh my
but mostly
God.
good.
You know, I said that last night. I was saying to Joe, we were watching TV last night. And, by the way, I watched the movie Stillwater. I don't know if anyone's ever watched
with
this.
Matt Damon, right?
Good. It was with Matt Damon.
Good.
Amazing movie. Everybody needs to watch this, but I couldn't get the chill. I don't know if it's because I just got back from Aruba and like it's freezing in New Jersey, but I was like, I've been saying to him every night, I'm like, I'm freezing. Like going to bed with socks and hoodies and
oh my God,
blankets. I can't get over.
Wait,
like
Melissa,
how cold
I think that's a thing from it. I was just looking it up because I'm never a cold person. It's like, I'm like, I need to wear
freezing
fucking gloves in my house. Like, why am I cold? My hands are freezing. My feet are freezing all the time.
Same.
And I don't get, so maybe we're being completely nuts. And maybe that's not a symptom, but I was looking it up because I was like, I'm cold all the time.
If I could have put on like mittens and a hat last night in the bed, I would have.
Slippers on.
And of course, Joe comes to bed and he's like, "What the hell? You're like in armor." And I'm like, "Leave me alone because I'm freezing."
Were you staying away from each other during yours, or were you guys in the same?
No, he had it too. So we were both just whatever.
I was going to say, how did Joe do being away from you at night?
Oh, but he was saying, so basically he was trying to say like, well, so do I. So who cares? Like that was Joe's point of view, of course, which was like, why can't we kiss? Why can't we hug? Like, let me like slip it in. And I'm like, Joe, we have COVID. Like you can't have sexual relations. Like, I could have the variant that you don't have or something, like something could happen.
And also you're just like tired and not in the mood.
And I'm like, who wants that? Who even wants it? He's like, I'm fine. So like, let me know. But like, I will say the longest we have ever gone since the day I met him, not having sexual relations. So it was a record breaker.
Test of time.
So it was COVID that broke the seal for Joe of like over a week with no sex, which is crazy for him.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's just like,
only a week. Wow. Oh my God. That's
unheard
the record.
of in his world.
So let me ask you, when you're doing like appearances and stuff, you two haven't gone more than a week of even being away from each other. It's been about a week.
Yeah, we've never gone.
Okay.
No, Joe starts to convulse and I don't want to say it's just Joe. I just think that my business and what I do is a little more like lively in the mix. So like if I'm away on business in LA, I'm in LA, I'm going to stop at Catch for dinner when I'm done doing the interviews. You know what I mean? Like it's a different vibe of what I do. So like, even if I have to go out for a Bravo shoot and we're doing a commercial, well, then I'm with 5 Housewives and we're going to stop by Craig's when we're done because we're hungry. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
In his defense, it's a lot harder for him to let me go off on these like business trips because technically I'm making money. Number one, it is business. I'm bringing home the bacon on every situation. Right. But it's hard for him to be like, okay, she's going to be away for 5 days, like doing this or on a set, because for his business, it's like he works on a construction site. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like a different vibe when I'm away. So it's definitely harder for him. So I try never to be gone more than 2 nights. Like 2 nights is max. The girls trip was a 7-day. That was a long time. And just if I go on any of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, then he, but those are things where he has no choice. It's where I have to like fly out to LA and like do a photo shoot or do this or do that, or I have to spend a day or two in New York. That he gets like a little antsy, to be honest, but I don't know. It's just our relationship.
Are you guys better now? Because I know last season on the show, we saw the two of you kind of having some issues in terms of that.
Yeah, I think we were going through it, especially like right before COVID. And then that COVID pandemic hit where we had a lot of time together, and for him to bitch about everything that happened right before the pandemic. So it was definitely a rough time. And then the cameras went up kind of during the pandemic, and we were still like just at it, and we were real with it. It was like we were just all out to dinner one night, and I just said something to him, and we were filming, and the way he barked back at me, and I was like, oh, okay, you want to do this? Like, okay, let's talk about it then. And I don't think he wanted to talk about it, but he literally was so upset over everything, and we were so bumping heads that he couldn't even control it. He was like, we were going through something. But yeah, I think we work our way through it. I mean, we have a long history together. The crazy thing about Joe and I is like our whole marriage. I was with him only for 5 years married before I got on reality TV. So,
and now how many years is reality?
17.
Wow.
So it's a very long time to be married on reality television. I think we're doing a hell of a good job keeping it together and being in this situation, especially him not meeting someone famous. He met a regular girl from college who was going to be a teacher. And, so this is not what he signed up for in his defense. But he's also, look at him. Well, let me ask you this question. Because you're, a comedian. Like, did you see Joe's a comedian now? Like Joe.
I know. Wait, Joe's also doing like motivational Instagram quotes all the time too. I feel like what's that about, Melissa? Does he come up with those on his own? Like who's making those captions? Is he doing the graphic art? Like how's that happening?
I mean, you can't tell that he's doing that graphic art on his own.
He's doing it on his own. Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Half the words are spelled wrong. I open Instagram. I'm like, Joe, I'm like sitting on the other side of the couch. Delete it. He's like, why? I'm like, delete it, Joe. He's like, why? I'm like, you spelt the wrong, like whatever it may be. I'm like, it's all him. He does love that. And I will be completely honest with you. Everyone comes up to him and they're like, we love your quotes. We love it. It was so he likes when people he likes to help. He's a big advice giver. He loves that. So he loves that. And he likes to make people laugh. I mean, Joe was making people laugh just like at dinner. And now he's, he sold out Caroline's on Broadway, which is,
I know they're doing a comedian. They're touring now, the House Husbands.
Well, they're not. No, it's just Joe, but they did like 1 or 2 things together. But mainly.
So wait, is Joe going to be touring him on his own?
Joe has a whole thing booked in like upstate New York coming up, Tampa, Florida, everywhere. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So he's just rolling with it and he's making people laugh and he likes it. I mean, I don't think it's like a serious comedian. I think it's more of like a, hi, I'm Joe Gorga. Let me tell you about this funny shit that happens and Melissa's vagina.
I'd imagine it's a fun night out though for audience because it's just probably crazy.
They're so excited to be there. That's really what it is. It's a fun night out. It's like, it's not an expensive ticket. It's go get drinks with your friends. Let's watch Joe Gorga stand on stage and be funny. Hopefully Melissa's in the audience type thing. You know what I mean? It's like a fun girls' night out when you're looking for something to do.
You know, I always think the Countess Luann, her show, it's not so much what's fun is on stage. I think what's the most fun about that is like being in the audience surrounded by Bravo lovers because it's like, you're just with people who love it.
And you know your company. You know what I mean? You know you're in company of everyone who just wants to see Luann say something or sing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that
use that term loosely. She's not really singing a whole lot.
She sang, can I say the whole entire girls trip? We were like, money can't buy you class. I couldn't stop. Me and Kyle sang that song throughout the house. I couldn't even look at Luann. And she is very serious about her. Like if you have a conversation, it is like very real.
She's real about it. Melissa, would you ever like pop up on one of her shows to do On Display? Because in my fantasy, like I'd show up at a Countess Luann show and it would be like, oh, here's Melissa doing On Display. Like I would love that. I
mean, I think that the fans would think that would be so much fun. I would never rule that out. I would jump on and have a little fun with that. I think so. Yeah. I think that would be very exciting. How many of you wish there was a better solution to paying off your debt? Our sponsor, PDS Debt, has customized 0% interest options for anyone struggling with credit cards, personal loans, medical bills, collections, or any other type of debt. Because of the tough year from COVID-19, certain types of debt can now be reduced and in some cases completely eliminated from your credit. There are more options now than ever before to take control of your debt, and the experts at PDS Debt can help. PDS Debt is giving our listeners a free debt analysis and copy of their credit report just for completing the 30-second online debt assessment at pdsdebt.com/Melissa. You will receive a full breakdown of all the interest you shouldn't be paying each month and multiple options on how they can help get rid of it. If you're making payments every month on your debt and your balances aren't going down, this program is for you. The average American with credit card or personal loan debt over $5,000 ends up paying back 2.5 times what they originally spent. PDS Debt rolls all of your payments into one 0% interest monthly payment. Everyone with over $5,000 in debt qualifies, and there is no minimum credit score required. Bad and fair credit accepted. PDS Debt is offering free credit reports to our listeners just for completing the quick and easy debt assessment at www.pdsdebt.com/Melissa. That's pdsdebt.com/Melissa.
That's sort of the dream, is to just have one good pop song. At least for me, I always feel like I want like one, and I think you've always been upfront
Do you
about
sing?
that. Like, no, I can't. I'm tone deaf. I'm terrible. But okay. I would love to have a song like an On Display that it was just like, oh, this, I mean, now you have like a podcast called On Display. Like I think everyone kind of wants their little pop anthem, and you got it On Display.
I know. I always say that. And I love that my kids love it. And it's just like a catchy, and what it means, like being on display. I do love that I did it. There was a time each and every day. There was a time I looked back at it and I was like, what did I do? Like, was I being serious or like, but then I like listened to the other songs and I'm like, no, they're actually good. It's just very hard to get taken seriously when you're being a housewife and you're like, oh, guess what? I can like sing a little bit. And so like, let me try this. And everyone's like, go scratch. You're like, they don't want to take it serious. But I literally had Johnny Wright as my manager. Like he took it serious. He came in and was like, grabbed me after the first couple songs. And he was like, I want to manage you. Like, I want to help you. And I mean, Johnny Wright made Britney and Justin, so it's like, I was like, wait a second, really? And he's like, yes. And, I signed on with him for a minute too. So I did try, like, cause I don't believe anything I do is like, I have to try. I have to, like, this podcast, I'm going to try and make sure that I like do the best I can and really, really love it. Cause that's who I am. I don't just do things half-assed, you know?
Yeah.
And so I tried, I will say I did try with the music, and I felt like I was hitting a point where I'm like, I have like 3 kids. Well, like, I just thought that was better.
Because you really got to put it, I mean, it's all of your time you got to put into it.
Yeah. It's
On Display was good though.
Nightclubs.
Yeah, On Display is really good. And I don't remember the other ones. Forgive me. I'm going to go listen to the other ones. But On Display was legitimately great. And I will say, people are going to roll their eyes listening to this, but if you listen to Heidi Montag's music, do you remember Heidi from the Hills?
Yes.
Yeah. She had good music back in the day, but I remember when she was trying to make it happen, everyone was just kind of like, oh, grown.
Because like, you don't just like Paris. Like
Paris,
you didn't want
same thing. Stars Are Blind is honestly a great song.
Right. But you don't want to hear Paris say, what about Kim Kardashian? She like came out at one point with a song too.
Jam, wasn't it Jam? I think she came out with
Kim's kind of like a Mariah without the pipes, because it's like they both don't want to move on the stage, or they're not like dancers, you know?
Yeah, you got to do it. We need a little choreography. We do need a little choreo.
We need a little move. For me personally, that's why I always was a Christina fan, because I'm like, she can sing and she can move, you know?
Tyra Banks had a song too for a minute. She came out with a song. Yeah,
yes.
That's the dream, is to come out with one song.
Anyway, so I know New Year's Eve just happened. Okay. Obviously, were you sick during it? So
nothing. I didn't do anything. You didn't do anything at all. I watched a lot of TV. I was asleep before the ball dropped. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
you didn't even watch the whole thing? Did you?
No,
watch Andy Cohen
I did watch.
Act Crazy.
I watched Andy on CNN, and I fell asleep. I mean, I fell asleep after the ball dropped on the East Coast. So I watched Andy until the ball dropped. And then, but on West Coast time, it was like at 10 o'clock, I was asleep by. But I watched Andy, and I thought he was great with Anderson. I like when they get sloppy and messy, and yeah.
All right. Well, give me your top. I want Danny's top 3s of 2021. So give me your top 3 favorite movies that came out in 2021.
Oh my God. This is, I just saw this movie, Coda. Have you heard of Coda?
No.
It's really good. It was on Apple. Marlee Matlin is in it. It's fantastic. CODA. It was great.
I'm putting it on my list.
I'm trying to think, what else I just watched something the other night that was fantastic. We started watching Yellow Jackets, which is not a movie. It's a TV show.
You mean Yellowstone?
No, I haven't seen Yellowstone yet, which I know everyone is talking about Yellowstone.
Okay.
But Yellow Jackets, it's a new show on Showtime. And we just started watching it the other night, but it's very dark, and I'm not sure I can get through it because there's a lot of gore and that whole thing.
I'm not a gory girl.
No.
Anything else good that I need to catch up? Like, because I feel like you would know.
I mean, I'm a big Bravo junkie, so I feel like I love this show called Pen 15. It's like if you were a teenager around the year 2000, I think you'd love it. It's on Hulu. I think that's great.
In my dreams, I was a teenager. I think I was a teenager.
You were probably, yeah.
I was very, very close. Okay, what were your 3 iconic Bravo moments in 2021? What are your 3 faves that are popping out in your mind? Okay,
the thing that's popping out from Jersey was the cheese throwing that you had. That was this year, right?
That was crazy. Yeah. That was 2021. Yes. Okay.
I would say that's on the list. I think on Salt Lake City, the Jen Shah arrest has been just like some of the best TV there has been. And outside of the Jen Shah of it all in Salt Lake City, are you watching Salt Lake City?
I am watching it on and off, like not religiously, but I'm catching up.
It was like a little bit of a slow start to the season, but then I feel like every episode has been delivering like after the first couple. And there's like great stuff with Mary. And I think the dynamics on that show are just like fantastic right now. And then I think Beverly Hills this season, with all the Erica Jane stuff, I feel like they had a breakthrough year. Does that make you guys feel pressure? Because, everyone's talking about the arrests and the law stuff. And
yes, I mean, but we have Teresa Giudice. You can't really top off the arrests and the law and all of that. We've been there, done that, honey. They're just trying to follow in our footsteps. You got me?
Wait, let me ask. I'm going to try to get some tea out of you too real quick. So this season on Jersey, we keep hearing that there's something that rivals the table flip. Is that like the situation between Margaret and Teresa?
Well, not giving too much away, but there is definitely a moment that is like, oh my God, like savage mode.
I always get nervous because every time Dolores is in an interview, she always says it's the best seat. Like she overhypes it a little bit. And we're
That's
like, Dolores,
yes.
We need Dolores to scale it back a little bit. We love Dolores, but fans are starting to worry like, Dolores, you stop overhyping it because then
when we watch it,
I always think it's better to underpromise, overdeliver.
Of course. And with everything in life, be like, I don't know if I'll be good at this. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. And then it's like, bam, it's amazing.
Right. And that's how you guys should do it with the Bravo, hyping it up, because Dolores comes on. She's like, this is the greatest episode of all time. And then we're expecting that. And I think if we didn't expect it, we would be like, oh, this is great.
But now, when Dolores says that, it's like, all right, we'll watch and see our own opinion and see how that goes. I can't. No, I know that is like, you are so right about that. Because I do see every interview she does, and it's very much so that way.
She's like, you guys aren't going to believe it. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's unbelievable. You're just going to be blown away. And then it's like, it's good, but we would have liked it more if Dolores didn't say it was the greatest thing of all time. But I love Dolores. We love Dolores.
I know. We all do. We all do. All right. So also, I just want to know also your top three, like, what is the craziest thing that happened to you in 2021? Like, what stands out for you? Three things that you're like, wow, wow, and wow.
Just that whole end of the year. I think I had a great year professionally. There were certain guests I had on my show. I interviewed Miss Piggy, which was like a weird kind of thing for me. Like
Miss Piggy,
like the actual
She's
Miss
still
Piggy
alive?
came on my show. Like Miss Piggy's still kicking, and I had some really amazing guests, and I finished writing this book that's coming out in March, and I have a few TV things and movie things that I'm working on. So it's just like career-wise, it was a really exciting and great year. And I'm grateful now. I have my podcast that I'm able to do full time now and everything. So it was a great year professionally. And then the end of the year just was real shit though.
Well, I'm really happy for you just in the fact that you truly do get to do something that you really love, that I feel there's many people out there that would love to be in your situation with the audience that you have made for yourself. I mean, you really have like made yourself an audience. You have people that want to hear your podcast, want to know your opinion, want to read your books. I mean, you've really, that's a congratulations, because that's not easy. There's a lot of people out there that want to tell us their opinion on everything, and they want to, and for some reason you attract us and you keep us interested, which is a congratulations to you. That's
not interested enough for you to remember who I am though, Melissa.
No. All right, stop. I freaking set myself.
Kidding.
But I knew you were going to say that, but the problem is, stop. Do not nail me to the cross for that. I knew when I saw you, I'm like, wait. I knew your name, of course, but when I saw you, this is the problem. I don't follow you on Instagram. I need to follow you on Instagram, because then I know, like, that's the world we live in. Then I would be like, oh yeah, I know him. Like, all
if you like pop culture throwbacks, that's all I post.
That's all I'm going to right now. I'm grabbing my phone and I'm following you. I went through your Instagram.
I'll follow you too. We'll follow each other.
Yes. Well, you were supposed to follow me. What the hell? Why don't you follow me?
You didn't remember who I was, so you can't yell at me.
Fine, fair. I just followed you on Instagram because now we're like legit friends. Like now it's like the real thing. We can DM, we can talk.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to keep this going. Melissa, this was so fun though. I'm so glad we got to chat, and I'm trying to think for the fans, because I know people are listening. They want me to ask you questions. I'm trying to think, is there anything else?
You told them you were talking to me. Was there any,
is there anything I can tease about, anything else you could tease? Like, give me something that like hasn't been told. We know there's a Margaret and Teresa situation. Is there something you could tell me that hasn't been highlighted in the trailer, or that the blogs haven't picked up, that you could give me like a little tease for?
I mean, there's some infidelity on the show. Can you tell that from the teaser?
No, wait, infidelity with between who? Not you and Joe.
No, there's definitely infidelity. I can't tell you who, but
I'm curious about the moment in the trailer where Teresa is talking to Louis and she's like, the cameras are there. Like she says that.
Well,
like,
she's alone. They're alone. So I'm curious as well, to be honest. I think that she's trying to give him a little heads up because he's new to the situation. So maybe he doesn't realize, like, when you're in these vans and you're driving to the next location, you are being watched and filmed and mic'd. And I think she's just trying to like, give him a heads up, but I am interested as well to
Do
see
we like
that.
him? How do we feel about him?
Yes, I like him.
Okay.
I like him a lot. Yes, I think he's great for her. I think they are completely in, I keep like a love bubble. They're like overly PDA. They are all over each other. And I always giggle because Teresa always teased Joe and I that we're like, so like, ugh, I would never want anything like that. No, now she's like slobbering on this man as they walk down the street. It's hysterical. But I think she finally found like, he's definitely the one. Obviously they're getting married. But I'm happy for her because and they fit each other. I feel like they look good together. They have a good vibe. They're nostalgic. They work. They really do. And I think he's a great guy.
Rumors are that Jennifer's sort of on the outs. Was she on the outs throughout the season?
I mean, well, let me ask you this. What do you think of Jennifer?
I like Jennifer.
Because give me reasons why.
To me, Jennifer feels like an early season housewife. And I mean that. And as a compliment, I feel like she reminds me of someone who would have been cast on the show very early on. Okay. Does that make sense?
She tried to get on our show for a very, very long time.
You must hate her. You hate her.
I don't hate her. I'm being completely honest, giving you facts.
What do you think about her on the show?
I have said before that I feel that she's more of an actress than a real personality. And that's just my opinion. I see the cameras come in and I see her personality change. And for me, that's why it was always very hard for me to vibe with her, because I don't like someone who sees the cameras coming and she sees them coming, which I'm sure you like. It's great for you. But in my situation, I'm like, but like you say one thing and then you say like, I don't like that.
Can you give me an example of like what changes or how does it change or was there one specific time?
It turns on like it's like, it's like, oh my God, I come from an old, like a first thing I brought her in, she comes to Envy to shop at Envy and it would be like, oh my God, I wear high necks and like, I don't drink alcohol and I'm always home with my kids and I don't dress like this. And then like, she sees me like if I have fun in a scene and I get drunk and everyone's like, oh, fucking drunk Melissa, she's so fun. Jennifer's like pounding it the next scene. And I'm like, well, which one is it? Do you know what I mean? Like I'm very good at this. And so that was always my issue, was the inconsistency. I think Jennifer and I have come a long way. I think that we try. I think that we really try. I don't think she truly has any issues with me, if I'm being totally honest. I think she thinks I'm fun. I think that she thinks like she has a good time with me and she gets more upset that I don't like hang with her more, which I'm going to pay attention to that. And I'm trying and I want to, I don't know, but I could see as a viewer why people love her for the show. I agree with you guys. I think she's wonderful for our show. I think she's a great addition. I think that she knows when to bring it, yada, yada, yada.
What about her and Jackie? Are her and Jackie going to be buddies now?
Well, I can't talk too much about the Real Housewives of New Jersey because the Bravo gods are probably listening and it's just not the time to talk about the new season yet. Danny,
I know, but I
will come back on your show once we're airing, please. And I will give you all the juicy scoop. I promise.
I also want Jackie and Teresa to get along. Like I want them to have a season.
Okay. So yeah, keep watching.
Oh, good. I feel like it would just be fun to see a different dynamic out of them.
Agreed. Okay. Well, wrapping up, I have to give you some, it's called, I do Grilled with Gorga. Okay. Every ending. And we're going to end this with Grilled with Gorga because I need to grill you. Okay. They're just going to be some random rapid fire questions. Just answer me and keep it moving. Sound
Perfect.
good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Your first celebrity crush?
Jennifer Love Hewitt and Ryan Phillippe.
Wow. Oh, your favorite 80s song?
Oh, I guess Take Me Home Tonight is the first one that popped in. I don't know if that's my favorite, but Take Me Home Tonight popped in my head.
I love it. Okay. Your biggest regret?
In college, I used to wear my cell phone on a belt clip. Do you remember those? Like they were popular for a hot minute and I'm so embarrassed by it. It's my biggest regret in life. I see pictures of me in college and I look like my dad. My dad had the same cell phone belt clip. And it was like the phone would protrude.
You know what I think of my clear beeper that was like clear that used to like put on my belt. Oh my God.
What were we
probably
thinking?
I don't know. Your best decision you've ever made?
Starting my podcast. It took me, I remember my friend and my boyfriend had been saying, just start it. And I was so afraid for a while. And I finally did. And I wish I would have when I had initially wanted to.
Your pet peeve?
Mustard. I don't like that's just the first thing that came to mind. I hate mustard. I hate mustard.
That's something you don't like. What's your pet peeve? What do you hate?
My pet peeve is when people put mustard on a burger.
Fair. Freaking no mustard. Okay, your worst date. Tell me your worst date.
Oh my God. I write about this in my book, but I had a guy that I thought I was like in love with, and he took me to I think it was an El Pollo Loco. It was like a fast food taco place, they have them here in Los Angeles. And my grandma had just died, and it was the worst date. And I was like crying when he went to the bathroom, and then I was using the napkins to wipe my tears, and it made my eyes all red because the napkins at a place like that are the shittiest napkins you can possibly have. And so I was like crying. 7 of them. I was crying next to a salsa bar about my deceased grandma. And it was just like all around a big hot mess.
It was just a hot mess. Yeah. Okay, fair.
He was hot though. Hot. Yeah.
What a waste. Tell me something that would surprise us about you. Give me something that all of your listeners do not know.
I don't think I'm a big video game junkie, and I feel like I talk a lot about pop culture and stuff on my show, but I don't know if people really know or realize, like, I love Nintendo, and I'm a huge kind of video game person. And it's something like I never really post about or talk about just because I don't know. I'm more of a pop culture guy on my show, but yeah, I love Nintendo and video games.
Did you get any Dreamcast games?
I just got a Dreamcast. I'm sure somebody told you. Yes, for Christmas, my boyfriend got me an old Dreamcast, which was a system from 1998, and he got me a couple games for it, and I've been playing it. And yeah, I had all the old systems, and my mom got rid of a couple.
Like the Nintendo, like the original Nintendo, like with the Mario Brothers and like Tyson's Knockout. Like that's my vibe.
Yeah, the original Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, and yes, we have a spare room here, and we don't have any kids. We want kids eventually, but for now I'm like, we need to make that, like, my dream is to make it a video game room with all the old systems and the old games. That would be
amazing. That's such a good idea for my new basement. I love that. I think my kids would love that.
Just like, every single old system and the old games and everything. That's
and
what
you just walk into like a paradise. That's awesome. Okay. First concert you ever went to?
Oh God, it was Everlast. They had one song. It was like it was at the House of Blues. I remember somebody spilled beer on me. My friend wanted to go. They had a song called What It's Like. Then you really might know what it's like.
Oh yeah, I know like that song. I was like, I don't know Evercast, but I know that song.
It might have been Everclear or Everlast. I can't remember. I might be mixing up the groups, but they was my first concert. And then I went to the American Idol, like remember they used to tour like in the early seasons of American Idol, like the top 10 would tour.
Yes, I remember you could go on a boat and watch them or something. Or was that Dancing with the Stars?
Probably both. Yeah.
Okay, your first job.
I worked in a factory. I worked in a line at a factory when I was younger. Yeah.
Okay, your favorite late night snack.
I'm a chocolate person, so like
when you're watching Housewives, what are you eating?
Yeah, I'm eating chocolate, M&Ms. I love anything chocolate, peanut butter, chocolate mint. Last night I was eating with a big bin of Andy's candies. Do you know those? Like the little.
Yes, I love.
They're like after dinner mints, but I was eating like I can eat like a million in a row. Other people will just have one. I had like a bowl in front of me. I was just eating them.
All right. And I always end with, how do you treat yourself? So if it's your day and this is like a day for you, what do you do?
When I was sick with COVID and I was stuck in the room, I was watching a lot of Real Housewives in New York. So since we're talking Housewives, I do treat myself with old New York Housewives. They're the one, that's the franchise where I can really relax to. Or I'll put on one of your old seasons, like when I'm feeling a little bit more energy, like the christening season. But New York really settles me down. And then I think outside of that, I like to go get a massage. I'm like a big massage junkie. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Danny Pellegrino, I had an incredible time talking with you. I really did. You are a gem.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. It was my pleasure.
No, you really are a gem. And listen, everyone, you need to go check out Danny's book, March 8th, correct?
Yes. It's called How Do I Unremember This? Go pre-order it wherever.
And you can pre-order wherever. I am definitely going to, you better send me a copy. I need a copy of this.
I
okay. Good luck. Have a great 2022. I wish you nothing but luck. And it was so great talking to you.
It was my pleasure. I can't wait to see the new season of Jersey. Thank you.